How to pick the right puppy for your family. This is Buddy the Groomer Chick. Let's jump in. I always like to suggest to soon-to-be parents or wannabe parents to think about their own needs so they can match a puppy to that. That's gonna result in the least amount of lifestyle changes and the easiest and smoothest training experience for both participants. What do I mean by listing your needs? The first element is your energy level. It's critical to think about whether you are more like a mellow person or you are the super high energy level one who loves to do hikes and runs and who lives a very active lifestyle. Second thing on your needs list is whether you have kids and what are their energy levels, their age, and just how they interact with nature. In case you have two boys, for example, I would probably opt in for a higher energy level puppy because oftentimes puppies get scared and get really afraid and anxious whenever they meet with that amount of energy what little guys have. In case you have girls, you're gonna be probably okay with lower, medium, or even higher energy level ones, but you need to keep an eye out for the girls so they wouldn't be overwhelmed by lots of puppy kisses. Third thing on the list, whether you have other pets at home, their age, their energy level, that's gonna be also very helpful to pick the right match. In case you have a younger or adult doggy who is energetic, you're gonna be probably fine with any kind of energy level. In case you have an elderly doggy, I see it so often, unfortunately, that whenever they meet with a higher energy level dog, the rest of the life of the elderly doggy will be spent in misery because they are not a good match, especially in case they are having pain for some reason or discomfort. They're not gonna tolerate a high energy level doggy that well or at all. In case you have an elderly doggy who is okay health-wise and can move and run around, then a puppy with a similar energy level will bring out a totally brand new and younger version of your own dog. The fourth thing on the list is the amount of space you have at home. In case you live in an apartment, for example, you're probably gonna opt in for a lower energy level puppy or a medium one, unless you can and want to spend quite some time outdoors with your doggy and your work schedule lets you do that. Fifth part of this section is work-life balance and travel. In case you can take your doggy along for work, that's perfect. In case you work from home and you can spend time with your doggy throughout the day, that's amazing. And in case you're a stay-at-home mom and have an additional furry kiddo at home, that's also amazing. But in case your work needs you away from home and you won't be able to visit the doggy that often, then it's a little tricky situation. You need to think about, for example, doggy daycare services to satisfy your doggies and keep the doggies' needs met for meeting new people and having company around. In case you travel a lot and you can bring the doggy along, that's perfect. In case you can't, you need to think about boarding facilities or friends or family who can take care of the doggy while you are away. Amount of time and money you want to spend on training. In case you pick a puppy whose energy level pretty much matches with yours, then the reaction time for both of you will be very similar, so you're gonna be able to balance the relationship out easily. In case you are a low energy level person and pick a high energy level puppy, you really need to kickstart and catch up to be able to handle your doggy's behavior so the relationship will be balanced and you two are going to understand each other. The last part of the list is your budget for grooming and veterinary care. In case you rescue a puppy, you need to keep in mind there might be underlying health issues that you're not aware of under the cuteness. In case you get your puppy from a breeder, they might disclose a health issue or they might not. The best possible way is to get the puppy from a breeder who will give you a health certificate where you can see in details which health tests they did on the parents and what the results were, so you're gonna rest assured that you get the healthiest puppy possible. In my opinion, there are 4 critical things you want to check on a doggy before you say this one. Those 4 things are health, how well socialized is the puppy, energy level, and love languages. Health, for obvious reasons, depending on whether you want to spend quite a lot of money or the least amount of possible money on healthcare, you choose which one you like to go. How well socialized a doggy is. It can kickstart a relationship or it can give you a ton of tasks to work on with a trainer right from the beginning. It is not impossible to make a huge transformation from a puppy, but it's always easier to get a doggy who is super well socialized so you can start from step 3. Energy level. In case you find a doggy who matches your family's energy level, that will be an easier training and lifestyle experience for all of you. Love languages. Whenever it comes to training, I find it way easier to train doggies whose love languages are treats and toys. You still can train doggies whose preferred love languages are quality time, physical touch, and connection. However, I find it a little bit trickier than when they prefer treats and toys. So what are the 7 things I keep in mind before I would say I want that puppy? I like to check health, behavior, and energy level. These are the 3 most critical in my opinion. And then hair type, hair color, face and body shape, and gender. When it comes to health, I like to check the doggy's vision, hearing, sense of smell, the body's structure, the coat quality, and the size. I like to keep the body structure under spotlight because I want to make sure that the doggy is as well built as possible. I keep an eye out for how the body is shaped, built, how the doggy holds its legs. Is it straight? Is it O-shaped? Is it X legs? What's going on around the feet, whether they are holding it straight forward or on the sides. What's going on with the toes, whether they are twisted, shorter, longer, located higher up or on the sides more. We need to know all of that. The doggy's bite, how well aligned the jaws are, whether the doggy has an overbite or underbite, how are the teeth going on in there. And we arrive to Douglas, ears and tail. I have a very strong need for doggies to spend their life in comfort and in health. Douglas ears and tail are created for a reason. They have a purpose, and whenever we cut them, remove them with docking tails, cropping ears with those fancy names, all that is just mutilation, and I oppose that. Behavior. How doggies react and behave in different environments, with their litter mates, with other species, with you, with kids, and with the breeder. Also, what are their love languages? Environment. How do they behave on different surfaces? Hardwood floors, tile, wet grass, concrete. How do they react to height? Whether they walk through pellets where you can see through between the 2 sections and you can see the depth underneath? How do they react to sounds and smells? How do they react with litter mates? Whether they are more dominant or more submissive, whether they seek companionship from their litter mates or seek more companionship from humans. How do they react to other species? In case you have cats or chickens at home, for example, you might want to know upfront how the doggy is reacting to that so you can pick an easier work and you can opt in for a little bit trickier work in case you want to. How puppies interact with you. Whether they approach you, jump on your lap, give you kisses. Are they okay with you picking them up? Keep in mind, a lot of things depend on your behavior. So if your behavior is not tailored to be okay with puppies and you're approaching them with squeaky sounds, then chances are the puppies are not going to welcome you that much. So you need to tailor your behavior so your doggies will be okay with showing theirs. Figuring out the doggy's love language as the last section of this behavior part will give you an idea how easy or how tricky it will be to train your new puppy. Whether the puppy's love language is treats, toys, physical touch, connection, or quality time together, you will know what to expect. Energy level. If you can make sure that the puppy's energy level is very close to yours, then it's going to be an easier start. In case your energy level differ big time, then it's going to be trickier and chances are someone has to sacrifice something from their lifestyle. Hair type. This topic is for the breeder and you to discuss because they know their puppies and parents better than anyone else and they can give you a better understanding of what are the possibilities hair type wise. Color. Same thing applies just as with the hair type. You need to talk about this with the breeder because they know what are the possibilities based on the genetics of the parents. Face shape. Everyone has their own preferences, so I leave you to it whether you like rounded faces or longer faces. It will depend on what you have available in the litter and which one you will end up picking. Many of these 6 steps can be done in person or on a webcam or both. Many of the breeders are prepared to live stream the puppies' days or they upload smaller videos so you can take a look and make notes which doggy reacted and behaved which way to different instructions. If you really want to be through, you can also check these 6 steps on the parents as well. Top tip: in case you're unsure about puppy behavior and want a second pair of unbiased eyes on the field, you can bring a trainer with you. Top tip number 2: make sure you are visiting full energy puppies and you see how they drain their energy. Talk with the breeder about the time you visit and make sure the doggies did not get a shot, they were not having a meal or a crazy playtime, because you're gonna meet with a mellower doggy in those circumstances. Top tip number 3: talk about these tests you want to do with the breeder to make sure that everybody is comfortable with them. Top tip +1: forget the rollover puppy test. It's a pretty popular test when they put the puppy on their back and hold them down gently and see how the doggy reacts. In case the doggy goes crazy for it, then it's supposed to mean that the doggy is very dominant. I don't think that will give you an accurate information about the doggy's temperament at all. In case the doggy's tummy is full, for example, or they need to pee or poop, or they are just super afraid and annoyed about your person, they will show you exactly the same symptoms as if they were supposed to be dominant. So please skip it. If I were a breeder, I wouldn't let that test happen to my puppies in no circumstances. So to get a better understanding of their temperament, take a look at their behavior among the litter mates, and that's going to give you way more accurate information about whether they are more dominant or more submissive. Gender, whether to get a boy or a girl. In case you don't have a doggy at home right now, this is going to be the only one, then it's no big deal, whatever you prefer really. In case you already have a doggy at home, let it be a boy or a girl, I think the energy level of the two, your doggy and the new puppy's energy level, is more critical than what their gender is. There are quite some information out there whether not to pair 2 boys or 2 girls together, but I've heard and seen quite a few examples about 2 boys getting along perfectly fine and 2 girls getting along perfectly fine. In case there are same-sex doggies in the pack and they do not recognize a leader and they have high energy levels, they're gonna fight constantly for the position. In case your new puppy's energy level is a little bit different, teeny tiny higher or teeny tiny lower than the doggies you have at home already, and they recognize a leader, let it be you or the other doggy at home, then they're gonna be totally fine together even if they have the same sex. I haven't seen scientific data to support whether not to get 2 boys or 2 girls. Neither I have data from my experience that they can be totally fine even if they have the same sex. I encourage you to do your homework and see yourself what trainers and breeders and parents have to say about it. Hope you did learn something in this video. Hit the like button if you did so, share it with doodle lover friends, and subscribe for more. Take care! Belly rubs your doodle. Bye!